Imagine a world where a single keystroke could summon forth a fortune larger than the dreams of empires. A digital phantom wealth that eclipses the entire economic output of every nation on Earth. Twice over, $300 trillion. Minted in an instant, not by kings or central banks, but by a quiet team of engineers in a Manhattan high-rise, their screens flickering like the eyes of fate itself. And in the blink of an eye, it all vanishes, burned back into the ether as if it had never been, leaving behind a tremor that ripples through the invisible veins of global finance. A scandal so colossal it forces us to question the very foundation of money in the age of code. This is the story of PYUSD, PayPal's audacious bet on the blockchain frontier, a tale of innovation's double-edged sword, where the promise of seamless digital dollars collides with the peril of human frailty, unfolding on October 15, 2025, in a moment that would etch itself into the annals of cryptocurrency history as the $300 trillion scandal, a narrative that begins not with a bang, but with the humble click of a mouse that nearly rewrote the rules of wealth itself. To understand this cataclysmic error, we must journey back to the dawn of a financial revolution, to the year 2008, when the world teetered on the brink of abyss, Lehman Brothers crumbling like a house of cards under the weight of subprime mortgages gone rogue, banks hoarding cash while families lost homes. And in the rubble of that crisis rose a defiant whisper from the shadows of the internet, a white paper penned by the enigmatic Satoshi Nakamoto, declaring independence from the very institutions that had betrayed trust, introducing Bitcoin as the genesis of blockchain, a decentralized ledger where transactions etch themselves eternally, unalterable by any single hand, a technology born from the ashes of greed, promising transparency in an opaque world, where every transfer is a public vow, every balance a verifiable truth. But Bitcoin was raw, volatile, a digital gold rush without the rails to carry it into everyday life. It soared and crashed like Icarus, drawing dreamers and speculators alike. Yet the masses yearned for stability, for something that mirrored the dollar's steadfast peg without the whims of central authority, and thus emerged the stablecoin, that ingenious hybrid beast, tethered one to fiat currency, collateralized by reserves of cold, hard cash or equivalents, a bridge between the wild west of crypto and the structured boulevards of traditional finance. With Tether's USDT leading the charge in 2014, promising redemption at par value, swelling to hundreds of billions in circulation, fueling DeFi ecosystems where loans, trades, and yields bloomed in code, but whispers of doubt lingered. Were those reserves truly there or mere smoke and mirrors? Prompting regulators to circle like hawks, demanding audits, attestations, proofs of reserves that would silence the skeptics and legitimize this new monetary paradigm. Enter PayPal, the e-commerce titan that had democratized online payments since 1998, born from the merger of Confinity and XCOM, a Silicon Valley brainchild of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, evolving from a Palm Pilot beam to process billions in transactions annually, a gateway for the unbanked, yet always eyeing the horizon, sensing the blockchain's inexorable pull. In 2020, as COVID accelerated digital everything, PayPal dipped its toe, allowing users to buy, hold, and sell crypto directly in-app, a seismic shift that legitimized the asset class overnight, sending Bitcoin prices vaulting toward $60,000, but CEO Dan Schulman, with his Wall Street pedigree and visionary gaze, knew mere custody wasn't enough. They needed creation, a stablecoin of their own to weave PayPal's vast network into the crypto tapestry. To enable instant settlements across borders, to tokenize loyalty points or invoices, to become the plumbing for a borderless economy. Thus, in August 2023, amid regulatory headwinds and market euphoria, PayPal unveiled PYUSD, PayPal USD minted on Ethereum's efficient layer, pegged impeccably to the greenback. Issued not by PayPal itself but through a trusted custodian, Paxos Trust Company, a New York-regulated entity founded in 2012 by a trio of finance vets. Charles Cascarilla, CEO with his Goldman Sachs polish, Edgar Sewell, the operations maestro, and Rich Teo, the tech whisperer, who had built Paxos into a fortress of compliance, the first crypto firm chartered as a trust under NYDFS oversight, handling billions in stablecoin issuance for partners like Pax Gold, and now this crown jewel, PYUSD, backed by U.S. dollars, short-term treasuries, and cash equivalents held in segregated accounts, audited monthly by Withum, with real-time proofs etched on-chain for all to see. A symphony of smart contracts where minting required collateral deposit, burning demanded redemption, all governed by oracles feeding live rates, designed to be the gold standard of stability in a sea of volatility. Picture the launch day. August 7, 2023, a balmy summer Monday in New York. Paxos's offices at 231 Hudson Street buzzing with quiet intensity. Developers hunched over terminals, lawyers triple-checking filings, Cascarilla pacing the boardroom, his mind a whirlwind of ambition and caution, knowing that PYUSD wasn't just another token. It was PayPal's olive branch to Web3, a vessel to ferry 400 million users into crypto's embrace. Promising yields on holdings, seamless conversions in Venmo chats, global remittances without the 7% bite of wires. And in those early hours, the first mints trickled out. 100 PYUSD here, 1,000 there, each one a pixel in a grand mosaic. The supply climbing modestly to millions, then tens of millions as traders on Uniswap scooped them up, liquidity pools deepening, price holding firm at $1, a testament to the alchemy of trust and code. But beneath the surface, the machinery hummed with complexity. Smart contracts coded in Solidity, audited by giants like Trail of Bits, deployed on Ethereum's mainnet with gas fees optimized for scale, integrated with PayPal's API for frictionless on-ramps. And as adoption grew, so did the stakes, PYUSD weaving into DeFi protocols like OV for lending, Curve for swaps, even bridging to Solana for cheaper speeds. Its market cap swelling to $200 million by year's end. A quiet success story amid Bitcoin's having hype and Ethereum's Dencun upgrade, yet always under the microscope. For in the world of stablecoins, one wobble could cascade into panic, as Terra's USD had shown in May 2022, that algorithmic horror that vaporized $40 billion in days, leaving widows and speculators bereft, a cautionary ghost haunting every issuer's dreams. Fast forward to the spring of 2025, a season of thawing regulations and blooming integrations, where the Trump administration's pro-crypto pivot, easing SEC clamps, greenlighting spot ETFs, ignited a bull run, Bitcoin kissing $100,000, Ethereum's Layer 2s exploding in TVL, and stablecoins, oh the stablecoins, their total cap surging past $200 billion, with PYUSD carving a niche among the titans. Reaching $1.2 billion in circulation by April, bolstered by PayPal's Spark initiative, a $1 billion liquidity injection announced in March to juice DeFi yields for PYUSD holders, partnering with firms like Chaos Labs to fine-tune risk models. And in Paxos's war room, the pressure mounted, for expansion meant scale, upgrading minting pipelines from testnets to mainnet simulations, stress testing with millions in mock transfers. Engineers like the fictional but archetypal Alex Rivera, a 32-year-old coder from Queens, bleary-eyed from all-nighters, her fingers dancing across keyboards, debugging loops that could handle billions, not trillions, her code a bulwark against the chaos of concurrency, where parallel processes risked race conditions, where a misplaced decimal in a JSON payload could inflate quantities exponentially, but safeguards abounded. Multi-sig approvals for large mints, circuit breakers halting ops at anomalies, oracles cross-verified with Chainlink. Yet hubris lurks in the best systems, the belief that redundancy equals infallibility, and as summer faded into autumn with leaves turning gold in Central Park, Paxos geared up for a routine internal transfer, a liquidity shuffle to bolster reserves amid PayPal's tokenized treasury pivot, aligning PYUSD with real-world assets for that extra yield kick. A $300 million move scheduled for October 15, the date etched in infamy. A crisp Wednesday morning where the city pulsed with oblivious energy, baristas steaming lattes, traders eyeing Fed whispers, and in Paxos's secure vaults, the stage set for destiny's cruel jest. It was 3:12 p.m. Eastern, the witching hour of the trading day, sunlight slanting through blinds onto rows of monitors aglow with Etherscan feeds and internal dashboards, Alex Rivera at her station, coordinating with ops lead Marcus Hale, a grizzled vet from JP Morgan's blockchain skunkworks, their Slack channel pinging with confirmations. Collateral verified, $300 M inbound from PayPal Exchequer. Marcus types, his voice steady over headset while across the floor. Compliance Officer Lena Vasquez scans attestations, her eagle eyes on reserve ratios, the air thick with the hum of servers and the faint scent of takeout ramen from lunch. The script runs, a Python wrapper calling the Solidity Mint function, parameters fed. Quantity 300 million, decimals adjusted for PYUSD's sixth-place precision, but in that fateful input field, a ghost in the machine. A copy-paste glitch from a test script lingering in clipboard, or perhaps a fat finger flourish adding 6 errant zeros, transforms 300 million into 300 trillion. A trillion-fold inflation, and the transaction broadcasts, gas estimated at a king's ransom. But Ethereum's mempool swallows it whole. Validators racing to include the block, and in seconds the impossible unfurls. 300 trillion PYUSD tokens erupt into existence, flooding the address controlled by Paxos's master key. A deluge worth $300 trillion at par, dwarfing the planet's M2 money supply of $21 trillion, exceeding global GDP of $105 trillion by nearly threefold. A monetary supernova that, if unleashed, could swamp exchanges, arbitrage bots frenzying in panic, defy pools overflowing into hyperinflationary spirals. Stablecoin pegs shattering like glass under a hammer, triggering liquidations cascading across chains, wiping out leveraged longs from Seoul to Sao Paulo, from the pension funds of retirees to the life savings of immigrant hustlers. In the control room, the first alert pings. A dashboard spike, red flags waving like distress signals at sea. Alex's heart skipping as she refreshes Etherscan. The transaction hash searing into view, confirmed in block 21,456,789. The supply metric rocketing from 2.3 billion to 302.3 trillion, her breath catching in throat. Marcus, what the did we just? Her voice a whisper of dread while across the ocean in London, a quant at Jane Street spots the anomaly on Dune Analytics firing off a tweet. PYUSD supply just 100x'd, WTF is happening. And the X-Hive ignites, threads unraveling in real time, Paxos hacked. Rug pull incoming. Sell everything. As Arkham Intelligence's sleuths trace the flow, confirming the mint to Paxos' known wallet, no outflows yet. But the specter looms, for in those 20 breathless minutes the world holds its collective breath. Regulators in D.C. scrambling conference calls, NYDFS Director Maria Vullo, veteran of bit license battles, demanding briefings, her team poring over filings, while in Singapore, Tether's Paulo Ardoina watches warily, knowing one peg break could drag all stablecoins down. And back in Manhattan, the war room erupts into controlled chaos. Engineers swarming code reviews, Cascarilla bursting from his office, face ashen yet resolute. Burn it now, multisig, full trace, notify PayPal. His command slicing through panic, Lena Vasquez initiating the reversal, the burn transaction crafted with surgical precision. Another hefty gas fee to prioritize it, broadcasting at 3:32 p.m., validators nodding it through. The excess tokens funneled to the null address 0x000. Dead, incinerated in a puff of cryptographic fire, supply snapping back to normalcy as if the aberration were a fever dream, but the damage. Oh, the ripples spread like ink in water. OV's governance freezing PYUSD markets on Omer Goldberg's urgent motion. Unexpected magnitude risk assessment pending. Traders dumping positions in preemptive flight. PYUSD dipping to 0.998 before rebounding, a hairline fracture in trust. And as the clock ticks past 3:45, Paxos' official ex-post lands like a lifeline. At 3:12 p.m. EST, Paxos mistakenly minted excess PYUSD as part of an internal transfer. Paxos immediately identified the error and burned the excess PYUSD. This was an internal technical error. There is no security breach. Customer funds are safe. We have addressed the root cause. Yet the words, though reassuring, couldn't stem the tide of interrogation for what root cause. A fat finger in the API call, a testnet bleed into mainnet. The devil in the decimals, that insidious 60 phantom born from a hasty merge in GitHub, unchecked in the CI/CD pipeline, a human oversight in a system purporting godlike precision. And as night falls over the Hudson, Cascarilla convenes the post-mortem, faces gaunt under fluorescent lights. Alex Rivera replaying the logs, tears of frustration welling as she admits. It was my script. I carried over from Sims, her voice cracking with the weight of worlds nearly upended. Marcus clasping her shoulder. We all own this. Lesson learned. While upstairs, the board weighs disclosures to the SEC, knowing this glitch exposes the fragility at stablecoin's core. Centralized issuers, even regulated, wield mint keys like Excalibur, unbound by algorithmic caps or DAO votes. Their errors amplified by scale. A reminder that blockchain's transparency is a double bind, revealing glories and gaffes alike. And in the hours that follow, the media maelstrom brews, CNBC's Squawk Box leading with Paxos' $300 T blunder, stablecoin stability in jeopardy. Anchor Becky Quick's voice laced with incredulity. More than double global GDP? How does this even happen? Cutting to Bloomberg's analysis, where analysts like Mike Novogratz decry, this is why we need on-chain proofs at mint-time, real-time halts. His eyes flashing with the fervor of a man who's seen bull and bear markets devour fortunes. While on X, the peanut gallery roars at Look-n-Chain's thread dissecting the TXNS with surgical glee. Added 6 extra zeros by mistake. Burn 300T, reminted 300M properly. Garnering millions of views, memes exploding of fat-fingered traders summoning eldritch horrors, PYUSD 300T trending alongside crypto-apocalypse, and in quieter corners, voices of the vulnerable rise. A single mom in Manila who'd staked her remittance PYUSD for 5% yield. Her chat log frantic. Is my $500 safe? Can they just erase money? Her fear a microcosm of billions at stake. For stablecoins aren't toys. They're lifelines for migrants wiring home, for developers paying devs in dollars without borders, for institutions parking idle cash in DeFi's garden. Dawn breaks on October 16, the scandal's afterglow casting long shadows, NYDFS issuing a terse statement. We are reviewing the incident with Paxos to ensure compliance and systemic safeguards. Their probe delving into audit trails, interviewing the team, unearthing that the error stemmed from an unpatched legacy endpoint in Paxos's transfer module, a relic from 2023 integrations overlooked in quarterly patches, a sin of omission in the rush to scale, and as subpoenas fly. PayPal's stock dips 2%, Shulman's investor call a masterclass in damage control. PYUSD remains fully reserved. This isolated event underscores our multi-layered controls. His tone steady as bedrock, yet behind closed doors whispers of contingency. Diversifying issuers, piloting algorithmic stabilizers, even flirting with fully collateralized on-chain vaults where mints self-enforce via oracles. No human in the loop. Meanwhile, the crypto cognoscenti dissect the fallout. Arcam's report charting the 22-minute window as a near-miss black swan. Santiment noting a 150% spike in PYUSD sentiment negativity. Whales rotating to USDC, but remarkably the peg holds, redemptions nominal at $50 million. A testament to Paxos's $500 million buffer and PayPal's brand moat. Yet the emotional toll mounts. Alex Rivera. Sleepless in her Astoria walk-up, scrolling Reddit's R cryptocurrency where threads rage Paxos. From trust company to typo factory. Her guilt a lead weight, confiding to a therapist. I almost broke the world for a transfer. Her story emblematic of tech's human underbelly, where code gods are mere mortals, prone to slips that echo eternally. By week's end, as autumn winds whip through Wall Street, the inquiry yields fruits. Paxos commits to upgrades, mandatory pre-mint simulations with fuzz testing, AI-monitored anomaly detection, decentralized mint relays via threshold signatures, slashing single-point failures. And in a fireside chat at Consensus 2025's fall edition, Cascarilla bares his soul. This wasn't a scandal. It was a stress test we didn't book, revealing that true stability demands humility, iteration, eternal vigilance. His words landing like gospel amid applause laced with relief. While regulators accelerate frameworks, the clarity for payment stablecoins act morphing to mandate real-time POAR feeds, circuit breakers on issuance spikes, interagency task forces to simulate fat finger scenarios, echoing the post-2008 Dodd-Frank rigor but tailored for code. And in the broader tapestry, PYUSD rebounds, market cap climbing to $2.6 billion by October 20. Integrations with Shopify for merchant payouts, remittances to Africa via Stellar Bridge, a phoenix from the near flames proving resilience in adversity. Yet the scandal's shadow lingers, a cautionary epic for the decentralized dream, reminding us that in the grand ledger of history, money's evolution is a saga of triumphs and tremors. Where innovation's spark can ignite infernos or illuminate paths. And as we stand on October 20, 2025, gazing into the blockchain's abyss, we wonder, how many more zeros lurk in the code, waiting for their moment, and what fortunes, real or phantom, will they unleash next? This is the legacy of the $300 trillion scandal. Not destruction, but a forge for stronger chains. A human heartbeat in the machine's pulse, urging us toward a future where trust is not assumed, but architected block by immutable block.